Broadcasting from our new studio with state-of-the-art piranha plant protection to your computer or mobile device, this is Minecraft News! Hello and welcome to Minecraft News, bringing you the most news for your views. I'm Adam, aka Swimming Bird, filling in for Lucy Goosey, and here is the news. Now, Jeb was in London recently at the Victoria and Albert Museum, and he did a bit of a talk about 1.7. There was an art museum or art exhibit there, and during that he talked about the new biomes and actually gave details on a few ones that we hadn't even heard of yet. But before I get to that, I would like to go through the news that happened beforehand, since that is very recent breaking news. So quickly, let's go through some of this other stuff. Now, Dinnerbone tweeted, what other individual volume sliders should go here? So now we can not just turn down music and volume, we can specifically turn down weather, blocks in the environment, mobs and players, and also records if you don't want to hear any of those things or want them a little quieter. Dinnerbone also tweeted, I went home because I feel crappy. Thought I would work on adding sounds through resource packs, but now I just need rest. I don't feel like myself. But luckily he got a little better very quickly and he worked on more sliders. So we also have jukebox and note blocks as a slider, and he divided mobs and players into monsters, animals, and players separately. So that's pretty cool. Now he was very busy after that. He said, it's Gaming Friday, so I'm compromising between playing games and doing boring refactoring, but let's do some small gameplay features instead. And the first one you can see here, first up, you can clone books now, same as maps, any amount of unwritten books plus a written one, and they stack too. So now we can very easily clone stories to make libraries and stuff and distribute those around, so that's awesome. Now, another big feature that people have been wanting for so long here, since we got item frames, he added, if you hit an item frame, it now gives you the item, and hitting an empty item frame gives you the item frame back. That has been suggested many times, but now it actually works. But then also look at this little picture here. Now if you hover over an item frame, it will now tell you the item in there, including if the item has a special name like this, Sword of 1,000 Paper Cuts. And one last thing from Dinnerbone here, Vex was asking him, does using bone meal and water grow lily pads? And lily pads are now a renewable resource in 1.7, says Dinnerbone, but not through bone meal or any farmable means. Someone very quickly guessed it though, fishing. It's in the good pile of fishing rewards, Dinnerbone says, so if you do a lot of fishing, you're going to be able to get some lily pads through that now. So moving on to the news I mentioned earlier, Jeb at the V&A Museum here, his talks. Now, he mostly focused on new biomes. Some of the new ones that he talked about here, the Mesa, which will most likely be the Canyon Disco Mountains we saw before, but it is officially called the Mesa biome. A birch forest, this is an example here from the Biomes of Plenty mod, but it will be a forest comprising mainly of birch trees, most likely. Some of these we don't have concrete pics on, so I'm going to try to, do my best approximating. The redwood forest with huge trees. We're not exactly sure if this is the Podzol forest seen here that they mentioned before, but I believe it is. Look at these trees, they're very thick and they look like redwoods. So that is most likely what the redwood forest is going to look like. Here's also another mock-up that someone did. It looks like, very thick trees, maybe similar to that. So this is an older picture that Jeb tweeted when he was talking about lighting errors, fixing them, but this is actually a good hint at the other biome that he mentioned, the non-snowy taiga. And as you can see, this has the spruce trees, but there's no snow around, so that is another. We used to have non-snowy taiga areas before, but now they have returned on hills. And some other things, extreme snowy biome, that was also mentioned. We're not sure the details on that. And also a more detailed snowy plains / ice plains was mentioned. But last, I'm going to throw in these two new biomes that are very interesting that we know very little about. The Savannah is the first one. And here's a few mock-up pictures people have done, but we have no idea what this is going to look like. Maybe it will use the desert-colored grass, but be more of a plains type of deal there. And hopefully, we eventually will get some new animals to go there, because I can just picture some, African animals like lions and stuff grazing around. And then the other one that's very interesting here, the Black Forest. Now, this is a mock-up someone did. Jeb describes it as an extremely dense forest with trees and leaves very closely packed together. It's very scary, and monsters will spawn even during the day, so it's going to be very treacherous to travel through. There's a mod out there that you may have seen called Twilight Forest, and one of the biomes in there is a darkwood forest, and the trees are so thick that you can't even see the sky when you're in there. It's very dark, and here's a few pictures of what that looks like. So it might not be as extreme as this, but I'm thinking this is what Jeb is kind of going for, a dark forest that no matter what time of day you go in, it will be dark inside. So that'll be really cool. Maybe the witch will spawn there, who knows? I think they could do some interesting stuff with that. Some other things that Jeb mentioned, though, there's going to be rare special versions of each biome. He kind of hinted at this before, but he said some of the biomes will have a unique layer at the top of the surface, and he described them as being very rare and hold some awesome secrets. So we're going to need to do a lot of exploring to find all of 1.7 secrets, it seems. And one last thing here that's very exciting, he's adding more structures along the lines of villages, strongholds, dungeons, etc. to encourage and reward exploration. But he wasn't sure if these will make it into 1.7. He said he would love to add more dungeons, but doesn't have the time for a unique one per biome, but hinted at a few. So I think he's the most common thing that's going to happen here is that he's done a few of these, and they will make their way into 1.7, but a lot of them that are planned might not make it until 1.8 or later. But still, anything that we can get that will spice up exploration along with these new biomes will be amazing, in my opinion. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Lots of exciting news for now, but hopefully we'll get that snapshot finally, and there will be a buttload of stuff to show off. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys next time for more Minecraft news. Goodbye.